Welcome to episode 93, folks. Thank you so much for joining me here on Scar Bearers. I'm Chris D.T. Gordon. As always, it's a pleasure to have you here with me today. And helping me on the back end, on that post-production side, are Nate and Britton Barron. If you want them to work their magic on your productions, please reach out to them at Nate Barron. Well, as we work our way through 2022, the problems of 2021 aren't exactly gone. We may have changed the calendar, but the problems are still here, including the struggles that young adults, college students, high school students, those in the military face every day. And if they can improve, they can benefit from greater gratitude, positivity, and resilience, please reach out to me at chrisdtgordon.com so we can start a conversation about how my message of the attitude of gratitude, or TAG, can help them on their journeys. Well, speaking of journeys, here on Scar Bearers, we often talk about those physical scars that propel us to motivate us to take our own journeys. But there are also emotional scars that get us going on that path as well. And my new friend and guest, Dr. Debi Silber, is here to talk about her own journey. Debi, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you. Looking forward to our conversation.
As am I. Now, as I said before, that a lot of times we have physical scars and we also have emotional scars. And that is what has propelled you on your journey, not only to pursue your doctorate, but also to start a movement. So could you please share your story?
Yeah, sure. So it's actually my 30th year in business. And as life would morph and change, so in business, I started in health and then mindset and then personal development. And then I had some pretty intense trauma. And I do, it's a miracle I'm alive. I mean, I had peritonitis, which I was in the ICU for 11 days, but story for another day. Anyway, I had a profound betrayal from my family, thought I did the work I needed to do to heal. And then a few years later, it happened again, this time my husband. So I got him out of the house and I looked at the two experiences and I thought, well, what's similar to these two? Of course, me. What else? And I realized, boundaries were always getting crossed. I never took my own needs seriously. And I know if nothing changes, nothing changes. So here I was, 4 kids, business. And I said, that's it. I'm enrolling in this PhD program. And I had no idea how I was going to pay for it, how I was going to manage the time. It was in transpersonal psychology of transformation and human potential, because I was changing so much. I didn't quite understand it. He was too, on his own. Wasn't interested in looking at that just yet. And then it was time to do a study. So I studied betrayal. What holds us back? What helps us heal? And what happens to us physically, mentally, and emotionally when the people closest to us. I had no idea that study would lead to 3 groundbreaking discoveries, which changed my health, my business, my family, my life.
Wow. So when you were going through this course of action, when you're deciding, well, I'm going to study this, mm-hmm. What was the catalyst behind, okay, I'm going to get my PhD, because a lot of people, they'll read a book or they'll take a course. A PhD is a little more than that.
Yeah, this was, by painful experience I had been through. And it hit me on such a level that a book wasn't going to get me out of this mess. It just wasn't. And I'm such a believer in learning, because that's how we grow. And I knew I needed help. I knew I needed support, but I also knew I needed the right type of help. And I just immersing myself in this program, I became my own case study and started implementing what I was learning, and it was working. And then I started working with clients at the time before the PBT, the Post-Betrayal Transformation Institute, was even open. The clients were shocked. They said, what are you doing? And they couldn't even make it through the day. I mean, some of them could barely get out of bed. And here I was healing. And it was just all I was doing was implementing what the research was proving works. And I was testing it, and it was teaching it, and one thing led to the next. And I realized, how do you learn something so profound and then go back to business as usual? I mean, you just can't do that. So and I'm happy to share what the discoveries were, but I put one of them into a program that completely blew up. And then everybody wanted to work with me. And I said, well, how do I leverage me? So I created a certification program, and that went really well. And I was like, okay, I clearly knew what didn't work. I know what the research proved we needed. And I said, well, what would happen? Everything that works under one roof and exclude everything that doesn't. That's the PBT Institute.
Wow. And so when did you found the Institute?
Yeah. So it was pretty soon after the discoveries were made. So the betrayal happened. It was September 2015. I was enrolled in the PhD program as an incoming student that January. So everything, the 2 TEDx talks, 6 books, the entire program, the certification program, everything is since then.
Okay. And so walk me back a bit, Debi. You said you had 2 betrayals, and one from your family and one from your husband.
Yeah.
Would you mind sharing what those were exactly, in case someone else might be going through those situations?
Absolutely. And when it comes to betrayal, this is the thing. We usually think it's just partner. It's not. It's partner, family member, friend, coworker, self, someone in a position of authority. And really the way I define betrayal is it's the breaking of a spoken or unspoken rule. Every relationship has them. Mm-hmm. So when there's this spoken or unspoken rule, and then, only one person is abiding by it, and without your awareness or consent, the other person decides, well, that rule no longer applies. It's a shock. What makes betrayal so profoundly painful is these were the people you trusted the most, right? So these are the people who gave us a sense of safety and security. So when that's the very person, those are the very people to shatter that sense of safety and security, it's traumatizing. So here I was, think about it as, with your family, you feel like, okay, these people have my back. And then when you realize, oh, no, they don't. It's terrifying. And then, here it was with my husband. And again, that was absolutely traumatizing. Betrayal also, I'll tell you, it is one of those experiences that allow for this complete awakening. Betrayal will show you who someone clearly is, or it'll wake them up to who they temporarily became. And if it just shows you who they are, there's really nothing much to work with there, and rebuilding is always a choice, whether you rebuild yourself and move on. And that's what I did with my family. Nothing was changing. The only thing I could do was heal myself and move on. Or if the situation lends itself, if you're willing, if you want to, you rebuild something entirely new with the person who hurt you. And that's what I did with my husband. So as 2 totally transformed people, not long ago, we actually married each other again. New rings, new vows, new dress, and our 4 kids as our bridal party. Now, never in a bazillion years would I have done anything like that if, for sure, if he wasn't different and if I wasn't different either. But what so many people do is they're so afraid of that complete and utter death and destruction of the old. But that's the only way you can birth the new, whether that's this new version of you or, this new potential 2 of you. So, but you never know. And what we do in the Institute, and what I took on myself was, I'm healing. I have no idea what it looks like, but that was the deal breaker. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just going to heal and raise my kids without any intention of what was going to show up. I had no idea what was going to show up.
Wow. And I'm guessing what has shown up has changed not only your life, but the lives of those whom you help, correct?
Well, because one of the things we learned was healing is entirely predictable. Now, most people don't realize that. And one of and like I said, happy to share the stages, but one of them is that there are these 5 now proven predictors if we are to fully heal. Now, most people, out of the 5 stages, most people get stuck in stage 3 and stay there for life. Transformation doesn't even begin until stage 4. So someone has been betrayed by someone so close to them, and it's affecting their health, their work, their relationships, and they stay stuck. And one of the classic signs of an unhealed betrayal is a repeat betrayal.
And that can, now, what are some ways
because
that
stay in this state? Yeah. So like we'll see it in health, work, relationships. Like I said, like, for example, in relationships, I see it in one of 2 ways. The first way is repeat betrayal. The faces change, but it's the same thing. Someone goes partner to partner, partner, friend to friend to friend, boss to boss to boss. What the heck? Is it me? Yes, it is. It's you, not in that it's your fault, in that there is this huge lesson you're meant to learn. You are worthy, loving, deservable. You need better boundaries in place, whatever it is for you. You get that, you will keep getting opportunities in the form of people to teach you. Like, look at my example. Here it was my family, then it was my husband. I was like, you know what? That's it. For me to join and enroll in that PhD program was by far the biggest thing I could have done. It was so drastically different to put myself first. I never did anything like that. But look, it changed the entire course of my life. You see, but what we do is we just sort of shake our head and like, whoo, that was crazy, and sort of set ourselves up for it to happen again. So the second thing we do is we put the big wall up. We're like, nope, been there, done that. No one's getting near me again. And we think it's coming from a place of strength. It's not. It's coming from fear. So sure, we're keeping out the bad ones, but we're keeping out the good ones too. Classic sign of an unhealed betrayal. We'll see it in health. People go to the most well-meaning, amazing doctors, coaches, healers, therapists to manage a stress-related symptom, illness, condition, disease. Very often at the root of it is an unhealed betrayal. Like 4% of people who've been betrayed have a gut issue. And that could be anything from Crohn's, IBS, diverticulitis, constipation, diarrhea, you name it. Now, they could go to the most well-meaning gut expert. But if that gut expert doesn't know there's an underlying betrayal at the root of it, and certainly doesn't know how to move someone through it, they're sort of hacking away at symptoms at best.
Yeah.
We see it at work too. Someone deserves that raise or promotion, right? But their confidence was shattered in the betrayal. So they don't have the confidence to ask, they're right, or they want to be a team player, collaborative partner, but the person they trusted the most proved untrustworthy. How do they trust that boss, that coworker, that partner? Shows up everywhere.
Okay. Because I think when we think of betrayal, it's really that relationship piece, of that, husband, wife, husband, or partner type. But yeah, betrayals can happen everywhere. And knowing how to heal from them is really the key to human connection, because we have to know how to, as you said, bounce back. And a lot of times, myself included. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, and really the way it works is the more you trusted and the more you depended on that person, the deeper the betrayal. So for example, a child who's completely dependent on their parent, and then the parent does something awful, that's going to have a different impact than your best friend sharing your secret, right? Yeah. Still a betrayal, different level of cleanup left in the wake.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the Institute. When I think of an institute, I think of a number of different courses and, at different levels. Is that how the Institute operates, or am I?
There's nothing like it that exists. And okay. It's because these discoveries didn't exist. So once someone enters, and they can enter in at we have different levels based on their, what's comfortable for them. Daily classes with our certified coaches. So every coach is certified in the 5 stages, moving them through, but they're teaching their area of expertise. And we have every coach practitioner has an exclusive category that they teach, because there are so many areas impacted by betrayal. So we have, let's say, one coach who specializes in narcissism, another in reconciliation, another in addiction, another in chronic pain, betrayal. So they cover the gamut. And the idea is members, it's almost like if you were to go to a fitness studio, yoga studio, there's a listing of classes. Members look at the class schedule and say, oh, I really want to, go to that class today. And then, of course, everything's recorded because we have people all over the world. Mm-hmm. And then we have our signature programs, self-paced programs people could do at any time. I go in there and I do Q&A. We have master classes where we bring in just the most incredible access to the most brilliant thought leaders on the planet. And I bring them in teaching about health, about hormones, about spiritual practices, anything that can help someone heal, about financial planning, when you're, let's say, going through a divorce, whatever it is. And then we have very unique forums and clubs, and it's all designed to lift and inspire. It's not the ain't it awful club, like where someone's like, that's bad. This is what happened to me. No, it's all meant like, what did you do? Wow. How about this? How about this? And it's very forward moving. It's an incredible space.
I'm excited just hearing about this. And it's amazing that there has been something like this created before. And so, first of all, thank you for bringing this to the world. What are some of the most amazing or noteworthy successes that have come through the Institute?
Oh, I mean, it is, you are a radically different person when, people come in at stage 2, stage 3, and I'm happy to, share the discovery so you know what I'm talking about here, but they come in at stage 2 and stage 3. And when they move through the program with the right tools, with the right support, at the right pace, what happens is they move to stage 3, to stage 4, to stage 5 and beyond. And that's when, betrayal lends itself to creating an entirely new identity, all the parts of you that you love, and you leave behind everything that no longer serves. Because what's so specific to betrayal is the shattering of the self. Think about it. Rejection, abandonment, confidence, belonging, worthiness, trust. These are gigantic, and they all are trashed. So when you've rebuilt your life and you've rebuilt all of those things too, you are a very different person. And the people you attract and your level of health, I mean, it's so dramatically different than before it happened. I mean, that's the gift. And what's so interesting and what we see so often when someone is in that stage 4 and stage 5, I can't tell you how many new businesses I've seen get birthed, like mine, right? Here I was. You don't have awareness to these ideas, and you weren't ready for them. And the dust settles. It's like things are allowed to show up. We've seen so many new relationships, new with the person who hurt them, like in my case, because you're both new people coming at it so differently, or completely, somebody new that they never would have been attracted to, or that person never would have been attracted to them because they weren't, at that level. We've seen levels of health. I mean, really chronic illnesses and weight issues, everything. You are a drastically different person when you move through the stages.
You and I, before we hit record, we were talking about our Christmas breaks and what we did. And, like the Hair Club for Men in the 80s and 90s, not only are you a president, you're also the client. Maybe you could share some of your successes so you show that, wow, this works for everyone. It works for me too.
Yeah, I am no different than any of our members who come in. I mean, the only difference was, as I was going through it, I said, if I can heal from this, I'm taking everybody with me. I mean, that was just it. And all I do is apply what we teach within the Institute. And with that, I regained my health. I mean, and just so I'm totally clear, I've been through disease, I've been through death of a loved one, I've been through nothing hurt me as much as this. And betrayal is, I believe, one of the most painful of the human experiences. I mean, seriously, your sense of safety and security is completely and totally shattered. And so there were days I could barely function. And it was like kids, clients, crash, kids, clients, crash. I mean, that was it. And it just using the tools, knowing that there were 5 stages, knowing that a predictable roadmap to sort of move through. I just did the work and it worked. And now that there's, this framework and the right type of support and everything else, is like, there's no reason why anyone should stay stuck. I mean, now staying stuck is truly a choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there is, as you said it earlier, people are afraid of change. Change is scary.
Yeah.
But it's, once you decide, okay, I'm all in on it, like you've said over and over again, that's when that's when the beauty happens. That's where, that growth really comes from. But yeah, you're right. So many people fear change. That's why we don't have the metric system yet in this country, but that's a whole different situation.
Yeah.
But, change is tough.
And to your point, I mean, when I wrote Trust Again, and that was like when the discoveries were made, I'm like, I have to get this out into the world and the 5 stages and the process. And it was in there. And then I was like, wow, you know what? Every single person, to your point, is getting stuck in stage 3. So from Hardened to Healed, this just came out a couple of weeks ago. And this is just for the people in stage 3. I was like, stage 3ers, I'm coming for you, because that's the place most people, who've been through a betrayal, that's exactly where they are. And they'll stay there for life. Time has nothing to do with it. And we even have our post-betrayal syndrome, 50,000 people who've taken it. There's a question that reads, is there anything else you'd like to share? People write things like, we've all heard time heals all wounds. I have the proof that that's not true. People write things like, my betrayal happened 35 years ago. I'm unwilling to trust again. My betrayal happened 15 years ago. Feels like it happened yesterday. So we know it's not time that's making this better.
Yeah. And so you showed us a couple of your books. Where can we find those books, and where can we learn about this fantastic institute?
Yeah, the best thing is take the Healed or Hardened quiz to see what stage you're in. You'll know very clearly. And they can just find that at healedorhardenedquiz.com.
Excellent. All right. And so where else can we find you on the internets, Debi?
Yeah.
So reach out.
My name, really my name, or the site is the PBT, as in post-betrayal transformation, thepbtinstitute.com. Excellent.
And so as we start in on 2022, what is something that you have found that you've developed a sense of gratitude towards? Because I like to speak about the attitude of gratitude. And I know you've spoken about many things that have given you this growth and this wonderful blessing of rebirth. But what's something that maybe you wouldn't generally think of being something to be grateful for that you are?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really grateful just for the ability to do this work and to help. Be grateful that I'm using my crisis in a way that's helping other people, because then it's sort of trauma well served.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. And Debi, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I have one more question for you. What is your favorite dinosaur?
My favorite dinosaur. Okay. There was a dinosaur. I remember it was the biggest one. I forgot the name of it, but I have 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. And I had one, absolutely. We had a book of dinosaurs. And for a time period, he loved this one book. And we spent a really long time every single night talking about, is it Gigantosaurus? Could that be your dinosaur name?
Gigantosaurus. Yep.
That's the one. That's the one. And he was absolutely mesmerized by this dinosaur. So just having that connection time with him, talking about this one dinosaur, that's the one.
That's awesome. Well, it's very cool. Well, again, Dr. Debi Silber, thank you so much for sharing your story, your message, and this institute. I hope of so many people who have felt the pain of betrayal come seek you out so they can regain the healing that they deserve. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Definitely. And so folks, where to reach Dr. Debi Silber at. If you want to reach out to me, it's chrisdtgordon.com so I can help you with my own message of the attitude of gratitude. Please like, subscribe, share these messages with people, get the word out that we can help people through their pain and become better versions of themselves so they themselves can help others through this crazy life that we all share. Well, folks, thank you so much for joining me today. Please have a great day. And remember to pass on perfection and go for greatness.